Okay, now it's 12:15 now, and the next section of the course, next module of the course, is where the trader steps in. There's been a retailer proposed, and that person is then going to log on and enter in trader type information. But I don't want to start that now at 12:15 because lunch is going to be arriving at 12:30. Okay, so we've got 15 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually do a couple of sort of out of sequence parts of the course that I normally do at the end, but I can bring those forward now. And the first one is to show you what the supervisor does for a participant. Now the supervisor is responsible for adding in new users for that participant organisation and looking after passwords and so on. So I'm going to have to log on as the supervisor. So I'll log off as net1, and I'm now going to log on as supervisor for net1. Okay. So I'm now logged on as the supervisor type user, and the only kind of different thing about a supervisor user compared to an ordinary user is that they have one more option. Yes? You can't do this because you haven't got the powers, and you don't know the secret password to do this. So this is only something I can do. So I'm logged on as the supervisor, and on the utilities menu, there is one more entry there that's available to me that's not available to other people, and that is the supervisor utility. So if I click on supervisor, I have here now a list of all the people in the organisation. net1 and so on. And what I can do is I've got a button here to add a new log on. But if I take net1 for instance, what I can do with net1, if that person forgets their password. Maybe they go on holiday, they come back, they can't remember what the password is, and they contact me. So I could reset their password. I could set it to whatever I like there, and then tell them how they can log on. So I've got control of the user's name and logon ID and so on. So this is what I had to do actually on, remember I told you that their passwords expired on Monday, so I had to go and change them from Electric 2 to Electric 3. Now, okay, so we've got net1 selected. Down at the bottom part of the screen, there are the available resources, all the things that can be done on the system. So, in terms of, if I click on any of these things, like switches, the only people who do switching are retailers, so there's no options here. In terms of updates, these are all the different possible things that are available. So what happens is you select whichever functionality on the system from this list, and then click on the this arrow here, and that shoots that across to the right-hand side. So they're now capable of doing all those things. So that's how you set up people and you control their access to different parts of the system. Query, for instance. These are all the reports that can be run. So I've actually allowed this person to be able to submit requests to run all of those reports. So that's how you set up users on your system. And you can add new users in the same way, give them passwords and set up their access. So that's the Supervisor utility. And we've probably just got enough time now to have a look at yes, I'm going to log off and log on as net1 again. And from the inquiries menu, if we have a look at reports, there are various reports that you can run. So if you select a report, like for instance ICP listing, let's suppose we want to do an ICP listing. Now this will be a listing of all the ICPs that my participant organisation owns. So I want to do an ICP listing. And you can schedule it to run at a particular time. Now, there's a number of different listing types. There's S, which is a snapshot of all of the ICPs, regardless. If you choose one of these other options, like P, for instance. Now, P is where you can specify parameters to restrict the report, so that it's just some selected ICPs that you want to focus on. So, for instance, you could specify one of these values, like you want to look at all the inactive ICPs, for instance. So you can filter that listing. And then you can submit it. At the moment I'm submitting it to run pretty well immediately. So that report would run immediately, and it would be available for me to look at. But to look at it, I need to use the FTP interface, because the report will be sitting on the server, the registry server, waiting for me to pick it up. We'll be doing the FTP interface shortly after lunch. Right after lunch, we're going to be looking at traders, and Ron will be introducing the trader role to us, and then we've got a little exercise. So, okay, it's not quite 1:30, but what we'll do is we'll take an early lunch and come back shortly after 1 o'clock, ready to continue on with the course.